students. Let us start the next chapter, Theory of Demand. Now, what is demand? Let us discuss the concept of demand. Whenever we go to a market, we purchase something. That means we have a demand for that particular commodity. So if you purchase a TV, if you want to spend money for purchasing TV, then you have a demand. There are certain things which are related to demand but not actually demand. For example, you have a willingness to buy. That will not be considered as a demand. Along with willingness to buy, there should be the purchasing power to purchase that particular commodity. And along with purchasing power, you should also have willingness to buy and willingness to spend. So three things are important or necessary for creating demand. First, you should have a desire to own it. For example, I have a desire to have a car, but do I have purchasing power to purchase a car? Or even if I have a purchasing power to purchase a car, am I willing to spend money to purchase that car? Those two things are also important. So a person should have desire to buy a commodity, should also have purchasing power, and third, should also have willingness to spend money. Then only there will be demand. Now, demand and quantity demanded. Now, there is a difference between demand and quantity demanded. Demand for a commodity is expressed with reference to price. So, at a particular price, there will be some demand. We all know that when the prices of commodities increase, normally they have lower demand or the demand decreases. And when the price of the commodity decreases, normally it is found that the demand for the commodity is higher. So in the market, whenever any shopkeeper or company decreases the price, they have an advertisement that the price of this commodity is now lower or this much, so that they could increase the demand. So that is demand. So demand for a commodity at a particular price or quantity demanded at a particular price is demand. On the other hand, quantity demanded, it is specific quantity. So when you purchase certain number of units at a particular price, that is your individual quantity demanded. For example, if the price of oil is 125 rupees per liter cooking oil, then you purchase 5 liters of oil in a month. When the price comes down to rupees 100 per liter, you purchase 6 liters a month. So that will be quantity demanded. That means it is specific to one particular price. So these are the differences between demand. So demand refers to different possible quantities of commodity that a consumer is ready to buy at different possible prices of that commodity. And quantity demanded refers to specific quantity to be purchased against specific price. So at one particular price, suppose 125 rupees, the demand is 5 liters. At 100, the demand will be 6 liters. At 95 or 90, the demand may be 7 liters. That is the demand. And quantity demanded is just like different set or combinations of demand. Now, next topic is demand schedule. What is demand schedule? Schedule, we all know, is a table. So demand schedule is a table which shows different quantities demanded at different prices. So if you have a table in which at rupees 100 certain quantity demanded is there, at 125 certain other quantity is demanded, and at 150 some other quantity is demanded, that particular demand schedule or table is called demand schedule. Now there are different types of demand schedules. it can be individual demand schedule, and it can be market demand schedule. What is individual demand schedule? When an individual, suppose you have different demands at different prices. For example, you have a table below showing individual demand schedule. Suppose you are consuming one commodity, that is X. The price of good X is rupees 1. Then you demand 4 units of that good. When the price increases to rupees 2, you demand 3. That means with increase in price, your demand decreases. At 3 it is 2, at 4 it is 1. So it is for individual one person. That will be individual demand schedule. And when it is a collection of demands of different individual in the market. In the market there are different individuals. So total number of individuals will collectively form a market demand schedule. What is a market demand schedule? It is different combinations or sum of demand by different consumers in a market. Suppose there is a market in which there are two consumers, consumer A and B. In reality, there are many consumers, but let us take an example only. So if there are two consumers, the total market demand at rupees 1, you can see is 4 plus 5, 9 units. At rupees 2, it is 3 plus 4, 7 units. Similarly, at rupees 3, it is 5 units, and rupees 4, it is 3 units. Whereas there are different individual demand schedule for consumer A and B. Consumer A demands 4, 3, 2 and 1 units at different prices, 1, 2, 3 and 4 rupees. At the same price, consumer B has slightly higher demand. So units demanded are 5, 4, 3 and 2. As sum of it is called market demand. And schedule showing market demand is called market demand schedule. So you can go through the definition in your book also. Now demand curve. So when we convert this demand schedule into a graph, that graph is called demand curve. So you can have different graphs. For individual demand schedule, you can have individual demand curve, and for market demand schedule, you can have market demand curve. Let us see individual demand curve. Here you can observe in figure 1 that price is given on the y-axis, quantity demanded is given on the x-axis. At rupees 1, the quantity demanded is 4. At 2, it is 3. At 3 rupees, it is 2. And at 4 rupees price, it is 1 unit. So when you convert or match these and form different points, and you match these 4 different points, you have this demand curve. So you can see it is a downward sloping curve. A demand curve slopes downwards. Why? Because there is an inverse relation between price and quantity demanded, which means that with increase in price, the quantity demanded decreases, and with decrease in price, the quantity demanded increases. So market demand curve. Now here you can observe demand curve of individual A is different, demand curve of individual B is different, but when we add these, we have a market demand curve like this. So in market demand curve, the total of demand of consumer A and B, that is 1 plus 2, that is 3 at rupees 4 price. At rupees 3, it is 2 plus 3, that is 5 units. As at rupees 2, it is 7 units. At rupees 1, it is 9 units. So market demand curve has a different type of slope because it is a sum of demand of A plus B or demand of different individuals in the market. So this is a market demand curve which is similar to individual demand curve. The only difference is it is the sum of quantity demanded by different individuals in the market. Now slope of demand curve. What is the slope of demand curve? Demand curve normally slopes downwards, which shows that there is an inverse relationship. Inverse means negative relationship between price and quantity demanded. So we can say that it is minus change in price by change in quantity demanded. So this is the demand curve. Since they have negative relationship, it is calculated in minus. Now demand functions, that means what are the different determinants of demand, or what are the factors which affect the demand. So these are the different factors affecting individual and market demand. Now what are the factors which determine or affect individual demand? Now individual demand function shows what are the factors affecting individual demand. You can see this formula dx, that means demand of consumer X is equal to function of price of X, price of related commodity PR, income of consumers Y, time, and other factor that we will discuss. Now let us see them one by one. Consumers expectation is the last factor. Number one, price of the commodity. We know that price of the commodity affects the demand. When the price increases, demand falls. When the price falls, demand increases. It is due to inverse relationship between price and commodity. That is also called demand, law of demand, which we will discuss later. Price of related good. Now there are two types of related goods: substitute goods and complementary goods. What are substitute goods? Substitute goods are those which are used in place of one another. Tea and coffee are substitute goods. That is most suitable example of substitute goods because they are not taken along with each other, but they are taken in place of each other. So what will happen if the price of tea will increase? The demand of coffee will increase because people who are consuming tea, they will leave tea because of increasing price of tea, and they can shift towards coffee. So in case of substitute goods, what happens? Increase in price of one commodity leads to increase in demand of other commodity. Now complementary goods. Complementary goods are those goods which are consumed along with each other. For example, pen and ink, bread and butter, or bread and jam, because they will be consumed along with each other. So if the price of bread increases, it will happen that the demand of butter may decline, because if people are not consuming bread, they will also not consume butter. So in this case, or in case of complementary goods, what happens? That fall in price of one commodity can increase in demand of other commodity also, or rise in price of one commodity can decrease demand for other commodity also. Now the third determinant of demand is income of the consumer. Since we are discussing individual demand, income of individuals can affect the demand. Now in case of income, what happens? That if the consumer's income increases, demand for different goods will increase. This will be for a normal good. If the income of a consumer decreases, the demand for a normal good will decrease. But in case of inferior goods, it may be different. What are inferior goods? These are those goods which are consumed by low income people, or when the income of people are low. The examples can be coarse grain, that means the coarse grain like jowar, bajra, they are coarse grain which have lower price. So what happens that when the income of people decrease, some people may leave the consumption of wheat or rice, and they may shift towards consumption of inferior food grain like jowar or bajra. Or we can say that in case of pulses also, there are some inferior pulses, so people may stop consuming expensive pulses and they may shift to a low price pulse. So in case of inferior goods, what happens? With fall in income of people, there is increase in demand of inferior goods, and with rise in income of people, the demand for inferior goods decreases. So it is different in case of normal good or inferior goods. Inferior goods are also called giffen goods. So in case of income, there is a different response in case of normal goods and inferior goods. Now, taste and preference of consumers. Now, when taste and preference of consumers is in favor of some commodity, the demand for that particular commodity will increase. And when taste and preference of consumers are against that commodity, the demand for that commodity will decrease. So when the taste and preferences are in favor, for example, in case of change in fashion or climate, so after 2-3 months we will purchase woolen clothes because our preference on taste will be in favor of woolen clothes, and we will leave simple t-shirts or cotton shirts because the taste and preference will be against that. So taste and preference also affect demand. Now last is expectation. So suppose today you hear that the price of onions will be 50 rupees per kg next month. Suppose such type of news comes. Most of the people start talking that prices of onions will increase and will become 50 rupees per kg next month. What will happen? Today itself, many people will purchase plenty of onions and start storing them in their houses to save money. They will purchase onions at lower prices today. So if the future expectation is higher, that means if you expect that the price will increase in near future, you will increase the demand of commodity. And if you hear that the future price of the commodity will decrease, you will not purchase that commodity. You will wait for fall in price and then you will purchase. So if the future expectation is on the lower side, the demand for the commodity decreases. Now come to market demand function. Earlier we discussed individual demand function. Now market demand function, how a market reacts in case of demand of a commodity. All the other factors are almost same in case of market demand compared to individual demand, but there are some additional determinant. For example, number of consumers and population, that then distribution of income. These are the determinants of the market demand. So all the other factors remaining the same. We will discuss the additional 2 points. Population. If the size of population in a market is more, the demand for commodity will be more. For example, in India, population is high, demand is high. And when the population is low, the demand will be less. And distribution of income. Market demand is also influenced by distribution of income in the society. If the distribution of income is unequal, that means rich are very rich and poor are very poor, the demand for luxury goods are higher because very rich people will purchase luxury goods and demand for normal goods will be lower. So fall in income people may compel to shift from normal to inferior goods because normal goods they may not be purchased because poor are becoming more poor. They will start shifting towards inferior goods. So with this topic we come to end of the class today. Please go through the topics in your book that I discussed today, and in the next class we will discuss law of demand. Thank you.